Hi guys. I'm Noki. This is the Pink Table. And yeah, let's get to it. So, welcome. My name is Noki, and let's get to it. Okay, checking in. I am super excited to be here, and I'm just gonna go with the flow. I was a little nervous because I was like, how am I going to keep this conversation going for a whole hour or so? So I'm just like not going to put too much pressure on myself and kind of just looking at this as like something I can document, something to like help document my growth and some of the things I'm learning and experiencing, which I would love to share. So we'll get more into the things that I'm working on, the projects, and learning new skills, holding myself accountable. So yeah, I'm here to help inspire and also help hold you guys accountable and just kind of share some of the lessons that I've learned throughout the way and how I got here. And yeah, I feel like I have a lot of insight that I would love to share. And I would love to interact with you guys more, so feel free to ask any questions. Also, I will be streaming Call of Duty after this. I play the small maps, though. I think I want to start getting into the bigger maps, but I'm like, you know what? Let me get better at the small maps first. And I just really enjoy the maps and how fast it is. So yeah, when we're done with this, I will be streaming on Twitch. Probably later, but I'll make sure to put the link on my Instagram story. So today I'm going to be covering the work within. We're going to be talking about values, intentions, consistency, stabilization, intention. I said that already, but yes, you get it. Oh, that guy was staring at me. Is that like so awkward? I wish there was curtains or something, but it's okay. Okay, anyway, so today we're going to be addressing boundaries, habits, behavior, consistency, holding yourself accountable. I think the first thing that I wanted to talk about was starting with curiosity and not criticism. And by that, I mean asking yourself questions like, what led me to make that decision? What is it that I expect from myself as a person who is my own caregiver, as someone from myself, from a friend, as a friend? How do I want to be a friend, and what do I want from a friend? What are some of the things that are an absolute no and no debate, no discussion? It's just set in stone. These are my boundaries and these are my decisions. So asking myself questions such as like, what led me to make that decision? I think like when you kind of start asking yourself more questions, you start to kind of unpack on your own a lot of answers and solutions, and you start to reflect on where you went right or where you went wrong and what led you to make that decision, because there's always, the root cause to something. And I am in my era of really wanting to get to the bottom of it and understanding like where did this come from? Where did my perspective, where did this idea come from? Whether, and honestly, that does take patience. It really takes some type of like channeling back into your memories and going back into that storage bank to kind of unpack, because our body holds a lot of trauma sometimes and just holds in a lot of memories, and sometimes we can't remember the thing but our body remembers. So I think that trying to understand better who you are is going to be more of a powerful tool for yourself, to better understanding who you are and what led you to make the decisions that you have. I think is just gonna really give you more clarity and guidance and a clearer structure on the things that you want to work on, and the things that are really gonna fulfill you and are gonna fuel you. I think another good question is like, what was my intention for that? Like, what was the goal? What was the purpose? Was I just moving? Was I disassociating? Was I just doing? Was I being influenced? Like, what kind of people did I have around me? Was there anybody holding me accountable? Was I even seeking more? I think, from my personal experience, I feel like I've learned to take my time more when it comes to making decisions. I've learned that there's a lot of opportunities out there, but not every opportunity is a good one. And I learned to slow down and just be patient. I feel like I was very impulsive and I wanted things done quickly. I had this idea that I was going to do whatever it takes to be successful and to achieve big things, and then I would just get rid of anybody. I had this idea that I felt like age was like restricting me. Like, I have to be successful and I have to accomplish all of my dreams and my dreams and goals and aspirations by 23, because and then I started comparing myself because that's what Beyonce did, and that's what Taylor Swift did, and so I put a lot of pressure on myself to accomplish and all of my dreams, my big dreams and goals and aspirations just quickly. And I was like so eager, and I was kind of impulsive to just jump into any opportunity that I felt like I could finesse my way in and like work my way through and then work my way out and upgrade. And I learned that just wasn't aligning for me. Nothing was working out. I was extremely unhappy. And I think God was just trying to show me that for all of those beautiful big dreams and aspirations you have, it takes a lot of consistency. It takes discipline. It takes time. It's not easy. It's a very hard journey, and you have to be patient and to really receive all of the gifts that come with the work that you put in and what you put out. So I have learned to definitely stop to really listen to my intuition and myself and take my time more instead of being in such a rush, and being okay with having limited supplies. I have this podcast room for free, and I found this place, and I'm just so blessed that there's even places like this that let you use their equipment. And honestly, I've always been the type of person that has always been really creative. I liked to start from scratch. I liked starting from nothing. I liked creating out of the things I already had, or out of inexpensive things I could find, whether it be at the thrift store or I don't know, Facebook Market or something. I've always liked to start from scratch and watch something grow organically. And I've always liked even using the iPhone to shoot photos and videos. I never felt like I needed this extravagant camera or anything to accomplish those things. But I feel like I allowed other people to kind of get into my head, saying I needed the latest shoes, the latest bag, the best camera quality, and the best lighting and all of these things. So I feel like I kind of put some of that pressure onto myself. And, I was younger at the time too. So, yeah, it's just been really crazy to reflect on everything. I've always liked the finer things. I love, architecture and big buildings, and I love nice cars, but I love antique things, and I'm a collector. I like the material of things, and I think that I kind of let that idea of material expensive things get to me pretty quickly. It kind of took away from the message, and I lost my message along the way, as far as being healthy and being natural and being yourself and being unique and liking to start things from scratch. I building things from the soil and, going up from there. I enjoy that process. And I think I needed to just be more patient with that process. Now I'm fully have dove into that, and I've embraced and really appreciated how much time it's taken me to finish an EP, to achieve certain things. Like I really had to downgrade my life in order to really upgrade it, and it just upgraded my whole being, my whole aura, my whole soul. It just brought me back to earth. Truly, I feel like I was just flying in the clouds somewhere, not really paying attention and not really being as present, and just kind of being fueled by all of the numbers popping up so quickly. And I noticed that, when I would post these little videos of like showing more skin, or, having these little booty shorts and crop tops on, which is so cute. And I'm here for time and place and style. Like I'm from Florida, like I'm gonna wear that crop top and those shorts, but I think that on social media, when I would just do these little TikTok dances or just any type of like content, I noticed how fast my engagement would turn when the more skin that I showed. And at first I wasn't comfortable being that girl. I always kind of was this tomboy, girly girl. And then I had like other people get into my ears, and I tried it. And when I tried it and the outcome was like 100,000, 1 million, or whatever, it just kind of was like, oh wow, that was so easy. And my audience turned into one that I didn't want, and I don't want. But I feel like you don't have to oversaturate yourself with that all the time. At least that's what worked for me. It made me feel more comfortable. I felt like, okay, well, cute. Like, make a cute video like that when you're in Miami or something, when it's like super hot, and it makes sense. I just became this version of myself that wasn't really true to and authentic to myself. And I feel like at that time, like I just was very antisocial. I didn't want to hang out with anybody because I felt like I was an imposter. Like I was facing imposter syndrome. Like I was being fake. Like I had to lie. Like I had to hide what I was really feeling and going through. And so I was just so awkward around new girls. And honestly, to be quite transparent with you, I'm sure those girls thought that I was weird because I wasn't myself, and I was very quiet, and I was just kind of like in this like shell that I didn't want to break through or let anybody in, and I was super paranoid about letting anybody else in. And then I just was like, you know what, I can't fake the funk. I can't fake it around like these girls and these new friends. So I just isolated myself, and I thought that it would be best to just not be around anybody at all. I thought that was best because I just didn't want people to start building a relationship with me and thinking that I was somebody that I wasn't, or them kind of judging me based off of where I was when I knew that I wasn't being myself. So I just didn't want to be around, and I wasn't really much fun anyways. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here to reintroduce myself. So yeah, I'm so excited. I also think I just wanted to show more of myself and be more intentional about like, where my head's at, where my head was at, where my head's at now, what I've worked on to get to where I'm at. And I'm really excited to open up about it. Through everything that I've learned and been through, I have gained a lot of knowledge through trial and error. And I feel like, and I'm now applying that into this and to these new experiences. So I'm really excited to show you guys how I'm building this page, and just even my personal page and my streaming page. And I'm just going to start with being consistent and just keep doing it for the fun of it and just keep being myself. I actually do this because I really enjoy it. I enjoy creating. I enjoy documenting. I enjoy having conversations. I also enjoy silence and being still. I've been really practicing like a lot of breath work recently, and just just the simple in through your nose, out through your mouth, really just kind of helps reset the nervous system, in times where you're feeling like you're starting to get a little more anxious, like myself. Like when I first started this podcast today, I was like feeling a little anxious and just a little nervous, but just doing that breath work on my way here and just feels so necessary. And man, just that within itself has humbled me so much recently, for sure, because I'm like, look at that. Like, I have been focusing so much more on being more intentional about my breathing, because it just brings me back to center, and it just brings me back to like feeling grounded. It's such a beautiful thing that we need to survive, and I think we neglect our breathing more than we should. I noticed that when I'm experiencing more anxiety, I notice that I'm holding my breath. So then just kind of going back to the breathing and just turning whatever negative thoughts you may have into positive ones, because the positivity is always going to win. It is always going to outweigh the negative. I try to, in those moments, sometimes, like whether you feel a sense of doubt, like you're doubting yourself for starting something new or learning something new. First of all, I think it's important to give yourself grace, because it might be frustrating to learn something new. It's like tedious and brand new to you. But you just have to remind yourself that this is part of like the process. And once you learn how to do it, it's going to be satisfying and worth it. And, it's not as fun anyways, getting the hang of something if it wasn't that challenging, or if there wasn't a little bit of a challenge, I feel like I've kind of ranted and went in so many directions, but another thing I've been working on is just making sure to circle back my my message, starting with the message, and we can keep talking about things that still tie into the message. So I do try to stay on track. Okay, so off to a good start. Let's see. For some of you that don't know, I am a singer-songwriter. And so I have been working on my album, but in the midst of all of that, I'm just putting EPs together and just working on some singles to share with you guys in the process of working on that. So yeah, it's been really fun, and I'm so excited to share some new music. I plan to drop in April, probably a good 3 songs. So yeah, something to look forward to. And also, I'm starting school next month in February. I'm going to be majoring in fashion design, and I feel like it was only right, because I've always wanted to learn I've always wanted to know how to sew, always wanted to learn. I have always wanted to make clothes and like reconstruct things, repurpose things. So, knowledge is power, and the more skills that you obtain, I guess you just never really know where you could be of service for the skills that you acquire. So I'm really looking forward to that, and just being really hands-on and stuff. They told me it would be 2 years to get my certificate for fashion design, and then the 3rd year to complete my associates. The 3rd year would be all my boring classes like English and math. But let me not say boring. See, turning the negative into positive. I'm going to find the excitement in it, the beauty in it, because I am learning, and I love to learn, and it's stepping out of your comfort zone, because I already know that the math might give me a hard time, so, and then having to write essays and stuff, may be a bit of a challenge. But I am looking forward to it. Okay. So going back to like learning something new. I'm not going to give myself a hard time for learning how to sew and learning how to make patterns and stuff from the jump, because I'm learning, and that's why it's going to take me 2 years to practice and to really work on this skill of mine, which I'm so excited, and I really hope that I'm really good at it, which, you know, I'm praying for that. So let's see, because I have such crazy, well, not such crazy, I have such cool ideas as far as like making stuff. Like, I think that I've kind of always been my own muse, but I have always found so much inspiration through, of course, other women. So, you know, there's always some type of reference point in just fashion and expression and in art. And it's just kind of like tying that all back and meshing it all up and making it unique to you. And so I think how I kind of got into it was thinking like, well, I want to be able to make my own stuff and tailor my own clothes. Like, I want to, like, I would sometimes think of an outfit or a skirt or something and look it up online, and it'd be like $2,000, or maybe I can't find the one that I want, or maybe it's sold out. And I'm like, well, how cool would it be to make that? Or sometimes I don't even see that they sell it at all. So I'd be like, how cool would it be to make that for me? Because I wanted to wear that. Take a cool picture, make some other sizes, or put it on some other girls that, you know, are into it too, and just take some pictures and post it and see if anybody, you know, wants one too. So I think I'm going to go about it like that. That's kind of how I envision it. So, you know, we'll see how things progress as the time goes on. So that's super exciting. My hair is blonde. I dyed it last night, actually. I used like some bleach and some 20 volume developer. My hair was pretty much virgin hair. I just chopped it. Well, my girl, Kristen, chopped it all off for me. So that was amazing. Honestly, I feel so good though. Like, I really want to just nurture my natural curl pattern, my natural waves. So I wanted, as much as I wanted to straighten it, because I've been straightening my hair for years. Like, I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. Like, that was part of a big reason why I chopped it all off, because I wanted to just start fresh and embrace my natural curl pattern. So I got some curl cream, and I've just been doing all that good stuff. But today I only put argan oil like pretty much through my hair, mostly at the ends of it. And then I left the bleach on last night for 45 minutes. And yeah, no toner, obviously. And so I think I want to bleach it once more. I'll show you guys like the reference or the inspo that we're aiming towards. But I like, again, I'm also trying not to be too impulsive, but sometimes being impulsive can be one of the best decisions you can make. Not impulsive, I think, but spontaneous. Let me reframe that. Being spontaneous can sometimes be one of the best decisions that you can make. And I am a very spontaneous person, and some of the most spontaneous things I've done, I've had the best time. But then at the same time, some of the most spontaneous things I've done, I've also had the worst time. So I think it's just getting to know myself more and my habits, and, you know, being honest with myself on the things that I needed to work on, so that when I am being spontaneous, it's safe, it's intentional, and it's fun and healthy. So yeah, we should always be in the era of truly loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And I think that I started to lack a little bit of that at a certain point, you know, just dealing with a shitty ex-boyfriend and shitty people, and, you know, having to ask myself, well, how did it even get to the point where I allowed this quality of a person to project onto me and, you know, make me feel small and less than. So, you know, you guys know that song, and I'm too perfect, and then I'm too fucking you told me to get a job, and you asked where the hell I've been. So I really actually feel that song, because some of the people in my past were always like, wow, you're so smart, and, you know, they would start listing all of these great qualities about me, and, you know, kind of gas me up. And I really appreciated that because I felt seen. I felt like, okay, some of the things that I like about myself and are some of my strengths, they're being acknowledged and seen by somebody else. So I felt seen. And then, as time progressed, then all of everything that I'm not was like the most important thing to that person. Like how all of my flaws, anything they felt like I was lacking, whether they felt like I wasn't working hard enough or whether I was taking things for granted, like I owed them something, or I don't know. It just was like, it just felt so confusing because at first it'd be like, yeah, you're so amazing. And then time goes on and then it's like, I felt like I was just being so mentally, verbally abused and manipulated. Because I was like, wait, how was I all of these great things? And then it was just really confusing. I didn't have a strong relationship with my parents or my sister or my brother. I have 2 siblings and, 2 parents, obviously. But, I didn't have a strong relationship with them. And I wasn't seeking them. But then when I did seek them, there wasn't really that comfort and nurturing I was looking for. And then that I think I was looking for them to be more present after I was open and honest and vulnerable about my experiences and my decisions. I did seek my family and I expressed myself and everything that went on. And I was hoping that they would call more and that we would talk more and that, they could share some more things with me too. Sometimes parents don't share a lot of things because, they're protecting that information from their kids. But I think I'm at the point where I'm like, well, no, like I would love for you to also share with me so that we can talk about it and learn from our mistakes together. That's not really the progress that's going on with my family. Honestly, though, I'm feeling really good about myself. I think instead of seeking and wanting that comfort and guidance from my family, I just leaned towards God more. And, someone actually gave me some really good advice the other day. And she said, whatever is burdening you, whatever may be lingering in, your heart, or whatever is the most challenging thing that is on your mind or that you've been going through recently, you should write a letter to God and then just meditate, take some time to stay still and to breathe and allow God to write a letter back to you. And I really loved that advice. And she was like, well, let's see if you actually do it. And maybe that was her way of trying to get me to do it. But when someone gives me some good solid advice like that, I say, why not? Why wouldn't I try to do that? Especially when prayer and just breath work within itself, and I love to write. So yeah, just felt like it was suited for me to try. And I loved it, and it was beautiful, and I did it again, and I would do it again. So yeah, it just feels like you kind of get some clarity, and it's kind of like Murphy's Law too, like whatever it is that you're looking for, you will find. And sometimes it just takes stillness. There's a verse in the Bible, I believe it's Psalm, I forget exactly, but it says, be still and know that I am God. And when I stop to breathe or meditate for a guided meditation for 10 to 20 minutes, I kind of refer to that verse a little bit because, just breathing and not really thinking about anything else but just being still and present in your breath and meditation is, I think, one of the most stillest places that we can be. So we can really just acknowledge God's creation and God's love. I'm beautiful, I just want you to know. Anything that I feel like is some cool tips and tricks for anybody who also is interested in like fashion design and learning some of the things that just the process of it all, I would love to come in here and share those things as well. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a full rounded episode. Oh my gosh, I forgot to bring my Pokemon cards too. I wanted to open those. So I guess we'll shoot for the next time. It's something to look forward to as well. Just documenting like the process and the growth and the learning and some of the pieces that I start making and stuff like that will be, I feel like, it's just so cool and interesting to watch and see it evolve. That kind of just brings me back to starting something from scratch, documenting the experiencing, and just knowing that this is all a learning process, and things are going to get better with the more that you do it. So I'll be sharing, about the game, the fashion class. I'll be sharing some music with you guys. I feel like this is a more like exclusive dive deeper into my routine and how I accomplish things and get things done. All really fun things to look forward to. So I cannot wait to continue to grow this relationship with you guys. But I think we stayed on topic when it comes to just like giving yourself grace and the patience and how much more rewarding it is too when you slowly build something up, and how big dreams and big aspirations is never gonna come so quickly. It does like 1 in a million, but it's so much more satisfying anyways when you work towards it and then you see something grow. And it's just I feel like it gives you more of like this adrenaline and more motivation, because you start to see the growth and people tapping in and just like your hard work paying off. So I hope this gave you guys a little bit of inspiration to kind of just embrace the uncomfortableness of how long something takes to really become successful, and the work that it takes and the time that it takes and the patience, and the efforts, and the consistency and the accountability. I think we stayed on topic with everything where principles meet standards. So welcome to the pink table. I say that all to say actions speak louder than words, and knowing information but not applying it is hypocritical. And your words have to align with your actions, and if they aren't, then you're lying to yourself. I feel like the sooner that you actually change, the sooner you stop lying to yourself, the sooner you stop walking in the path that you dream of, your biggest dreams, then the sooner you stop feeling guilty, ashamed for anything that anyone's put you through or anything that you've been through. You start actually feeling like, there's no reason to feel regret because I've changed, I've evolved, and life gets better. And of course, there's going to be all of these crazy obstacles being thrown at us all the time, and that's expected. Looking at the beauty and seeing the light in the darkness, shining the light in the darkness. Because sometimes I think like when we go through things really heavy, emotional, and we are a wreck. But I do believe that even in that moment of sadness or, grief, it's important to remind yourself that this is temporary. I am going to acknowledge and allow myself to go through all of these feelings, but I'm not going to stay stuck here. And I know that this is part of the process. And the sooner that I know that there is beauty at the end and through all of this, I think the easier it is to heal and just look at it through a more positive lens. So, some of the things I wrote down was, just to better trust myself, that I better trust myself more when I'm listening and not being so impulsive and reactive, because I've taken the time to think about my actions before I act on them. And so the outcome is usually much more rewarding because you are satisfied and you thought about what you were gonna do, right? Because I've definitely given myself a hard time when I knew that the decision was bad, but I was like, but you know what? The good thing about this decision could be that, when in reality I was lying to myself and just trying to make light of something that wasn't. So, but we are holding ourselves accountable, making no excuses, but also moving on and letting go and detaching. You don't need to be attached to any of those things when they're not attached to you anymore. So let it go. Okay. Actually, one thing I want to add too, it's kind of random, but I have a CO2 laser facial scheduled next week, February 5th, and I am so freaking excited. And the girl that referred me to Dr. August, I believe is his name, her name is Ava, and she's coming with, and she's beautiful and has also done the laser and is very excited for me. And we are all very excited for me about this, honestly. All my friends are geeked about it. They're like, ah! So yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, anyways, it's always better what you envisioned and anticipated and wanted anyways when you are aligning yourself to those principles and values and boundaries, creating those boundaries to really center yourself and become the person you are meant to be. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hopefully see you guys on the game. So catch me on Twitch at Nuke Noki. It was lovely talking to you guys. I love you guys. Have a good one, and always take care of yourselves and take care of others. But of course, take care of yourself first if you need that. So peace.